are you today? Can we just talk about how I'm layering? I have like 3 different layers on. This is really exciting. I don't even know how cold it is today. It's probably not cold. I'm gonna check so that we can laugh at me. Yeah, we're gonna get to a high of 66, but that's really cold here, and so I'm layering, and I'm really excited about it. So anyway, today's video is going to be a little bit different than the advice videos that I've done in the past because it's going to be a dating advice video, specifically about first dates. I also want to say that a lot of these tips will apply more to like dating when you're in college, which is very different than when you're dating in high school. In high school, you pretty much meet them in school, they live at home, they live in the same town as you, you know where they're from, stuff like that. So some of these tips are going to apply a little bit more to college dating where you don't know where someone's from or what they're majoring in or where their parents are from and stuff like that. And so most of these things will apply to both situations, but some of them will apply more to college dating. Okay, so we're going to start with prepping for the date. So my first tip is to brush your teeth before you go on the date. I know this seems really self-explanatory, but a lot of people, you know, you brush your teeth in the morning, you brush your teeth at night, and you don't think to brush your teeth before going out, which I've actually gotten in the habit of, and I love. I recommend doing it all the time. But especially when you're on a date, you do not want your breath to smell bad, or even not to smell good. Smelling good is way, way, way important when it comes to a date. Also, if you have a favorite perfume, something sort of sweet, definitely put that on. I have this one perfume, it's called Pink Sugar, and it's by Aquafina, and I swear, every single time I've worn it on a date, the guy has been like, you smell really good. There's just something about that scent. It's magic, and I highly recommend it because it is, first of all, a delicious scent, and second, guys really like it. My next tip is to dress comfortably. This is super duper important. Assess where you are going. It probably won't be anywhere super, super fancy, and then dress appropriately in something that you're going to feel really comfortable in. For me, if I'm going to dinner at just a casual restaurant, I'll wear like a cool pair of black jeans because they're my favorite, a nice shirt, and you know, maybe a leather jacket. You look nice and put together, but something that I'm really comfortable in. You know, t-shirt and jeans, don't underestimate the power of t-shirt and jeans. There is something about t-shirt and jeans that can drive a guy insane, the same exact way as a super tight, sexy dress can. There's just something about it. Guys love it. I was just talking to my friend Mike about this because he was like, when you go on that date, you should wear a t-shirt and jeans, and I did. And my last tip for prepping for your date is to wear a lipstick that is not high maintenance and that is not too bold. I know this seems sort of weird. I always like to rock the bold lip, and sometimes I will anyway, but there are a few things that you have to worry about. Number one, a bold lip is really high maintenance. You always have to reapply, you have to check to make sure it hasn't run, to make sure it doesn't gotten weird in certain places, and that's a lot to think about when you're already stressed about being on a first date. On top of that, as far as first date kisses go, if you get that far, you know, when you're wearing bright red lipstick, it can be a little intimidating for guys. Whereas if you're wearing something a little bit lighter that probably wore off during dinner or while you were talking or whatever, it's going to be a little bit less intimidating for them. So now we're going to move on to some tips about the actual date itself. So my first tip is going to be pretty self-explanatory, and that is to be yourself. I know this seems sort of weird, but when people go on dates, they can get really nervous and they want to impress the person, but just be yourself. If someone mentions a movie or a type of music that you don't know, just say that you don't know it. You don't have to have everything in common with them, and who knows, maybe you're going to end up loving that, and then they introduce you to something new. So just be yourself. Don't worry about having to agree with them on everything and being on top of everything. You know, just, you know, it's no big deal. If you haven't seen that movie, if you don't know what that music is, just say so. And, you know, just joke around and just be who you are when you're with your friends. That's what a guy's gonna love. My next tip is all about making conversation. This can be really tough on a first date because there can sort of be that awkward thing. I remember my first date. It was awful. I had nothing to talk to them about. I didn't know what I was doing. I had absolutely no clue. I hardly knew this person. I mean, it was a mess. I had no clue. I was in way over my head. I had no idea. But now I can impart some knowledge onto you, that way that doesn't happen with you. So what you have to do when you're going on to a first date is think about what you know, think about what you should know, and then turn that into questions. So, for example, if I do not know where this person is from originally, that's a great question to ask. I can ask, do you have any siblings? Simple things like that. And then on top of that, if I know that this person goes to UCLA, I can ask, what are you majoring in? How much longer do you have in school? What do you want to do afterwards? What's your job now? What is your dream job? I mean, things like that can really escalate into a longer, fuller conversation with deeper things. This is one of those things that varies a little bit more when you're doing high school dating. I don't really know much about high school dating because I hardly dated when I was in high school. I guess in high school, when you go on dates, it's more with people who you're already friends with, so hopefully you already have things to talk about. If you don't, you can still ask them things like, what do you want to do when you go to college? Do you want to go to college? Where do you want to go to college? I don't know, stuff like that. You can ask them stuff in general about that, I guess. I'm not really the expert in that. And my last tip is do not stress out about the date. It's going to be okay. Even if the date goes horribly, it's no big deal. It's totally fine. You're going to go on plenty of awful first dates before you find someone that's worth going on a second or third date with. It's just the way that it is. All of us have been there. I have had plenty of first dates where I'm like, I never want to see this person again. And it's normally not even because they're weird or whatever. It's just because you don't have that much in common, and it just wasn't that interesting of a conversation. Like, I went on this date a few weeks ago where there was plenty of conversation going on, but there was nothing special about it. I just felt like I was sort of getting to know someone who could maybe be my friend, but also not a close friend because, I don't know, there was just no spark, and you're going to know when you know. Trust me, when you're there, you're going to get that spark, or you're going to get that there's not a spark. And lastly, before I wrap up this video, I just want to say that dating is no big deal. If you haven't had your first date yet, if you haven't had your first kiss yet, don't worry about it. It's no big deal, and don't be embarrassed by it. Everyone moves at their own pace. Everyone, you know, just finds themselves at different times wanting different things. So don't worry. It's no big deal. No one's gonna think that you're a freak because you haven't had your first date or your first kiss yet, I promise. And if someone does make fun of you for it, it's either because they're a jerk and not worth your time, or because they haven't had their first date or their first kiss either and they're trying to cover it up by being mean. And that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Now I'm going to start to get into my holiday series for Thanksgiving and Christmas, so get ready. I have it all planned out and it's going to be marvelous, darling. I'm seriously obsessed with all the videos that I'm going to be doing and I can't wait to share them with you. So stick around, make sure that you're subscribed, that way on Saturday you can see my very first holiday video. And if any of you have specific requests for holiday videos, please leave them in the comment section below and I will try to put them in. I love you all so much and I will see you in my next video. Bye! I love you guys so much and I'll catch you next. Why do I keep doing this? Remember I had this